Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people like yourselves. This is this week's playlist. Playlist is always defined by the track of the week, which comes up in the teasers on Thursday. And every week, the playlist has a theme, feeds into some other playlists that I'd like to share with you of just some great music. So we're going to go right into it. First, the track of the week is Close My Eyes Forever, which is done by Ozzy Osbourne and Lita Ford. If you want to check out the video where I talk a bit and do some curation of that, you can find it in the description down below. Now, to the rest of the playlist. The full track for this week, one of my favorite albums of all time, an album that, because of the time and place it came into my life, is Gravedancer's Union by Soul Asylum. This came out in 1992. It's one of my favorite albums ever. It's almost always in my car. And I've probably listened to it a million times. But it's a great album. And I guess that means I should probably tell you about this week's theme. And this week's theme is disillusionment. That's kind of the entire theme of this whole album. It is about just being disillusioned by the world. You hit a certain point in life, and all the things you kind of believed in, you have to reassess. And you can go one way or the other. You can go in a positive or negative way when you become disillusioned about the world we live in life in general. And this covers a little bit of both. But as the song Homesick on here says, woe is me, I am so homesick, but I ain't that bad because I'm homesick for the home I never had. As I said, I love this album, and I have featured an entire Soul Asylum album on the full list before. So I hope that's not too redundant because these are, as I said, two of my favorite albums of all time. Cover That Kicks Ass. Oh my gosh, new band for me to discover. And I have to say, I will be buying their work. This needs to be added to my record collection. This is a band called The Charm of Finches. This is doing their cover of Disarm by the Smashing Pumpkins. I believe it was just released as a single. I could not find an album that it was on. They're a folk duet out of Melbourne, Australia. And they do some awesome work. This track happens to be very dark folk. And I just think it's awesome. And the video that I attached with the track is just amazing. I hope you really like it. What's really cool is that they did it all in one take. And it's kind of a little creepy, but in a good way. And I hope you enjoy it because these girls are so talented. And I really hope you enjoy checking that out. Once again, disillusionment's what this week's all about, and we're going to go ahead and keep moving on. The Stick This Thing in the Socket track for this week is Loneliness by Tomcraft. You've probably heard this before if you're into electronic music at all. It was a huge track when it came out in 2002. Tomcraft's a German artist. This was only released as a single, but I'm sure if you've ever been to a club, or if you were at a club in this time period, you definitely have heard it. And it's loneliness seems to mean happiness, and happiness seems to mean loneliness. And yeah, that's some heavy stuff. I mean, especially for something you're supposed to be able to dance to, but just meditate on it while you're listening to the music. Right now, we're featuring industrial music for our 6-week theme playlist. And this playlist is called Stuck in the Gears. First track we have is The Man That You Fear by Marilyn Manson. It's the last track off the album Antichrist Superstar, which came out in 1996. I've seen them live twice, and both times it was an amazing show. Twice? Three times. All three times it was an amazing show. And it was great. One of my favorite lines, pretty much of all time, "The screen is us and we're TVs," is in this track. And I also included the video for this. If you're into Harmonious Bosch, there's so much Boschian imagery. It's the video is almost as thought provoking as the song. But yeah, "The Boy You Loved Is the Man That You Fear." It check it out. It's really good stuff. The other Stuck in the Years track is the 1988 classic by Front 242, Headhunter. This is off the album Front by Front. And this is a good track. For any club kid, for anyone who's a gearhead, for anyone who's into industrial, like, you're so familiar with this, but it never stops being great. And this is off of, as I said, Front by Front. Jean-Luc Demeyer, the singer, said that his interpretation that he wanted to do with this is talking about how intertribal warfare and corporate society are kind of reflective of one another. He worked in that environment for quite a while, and it's just something that I think you should think about while you're listening to this. Also, if you want to get up and just enjoy listening and dance to it, please do, because this is a song that makes you want to move. And then we get finally to our bonus track for the week. Now, this is from 2002. It is Nine Inch Nails, who I featured a cover of last week, but this is live in 2002 doing The Great Below. And this is one of my favorite songs that was ever done by Nine Inch Nails. I really, really like it. And it's about loss and disillusionment. Part of the apocrypha around this is that it came out right after his grandmother died, who Trent Reznor was very close to. And that has something to do with it. But more than anything, I think it has to do with realizing that the people who you thought were going to be there forever really aren't. And, it's a little heart-wrenching. This is originally off the 1999 album The Fragile. The tour happened in 2000, and I am fortunate enough that one of the many times that I've seen Nine Inch Nails, I got to see the first show on the tour for that album. It was back in 2000 in Cleveland, Ohio, where the band originated. And, it was such an amazing show. It was wonderful. If you ever get the opportunity to go see Nine Inch Nails live. But The Fragile was a concept album, which nobody had done for a while, and then back to back, Trent did too. So you have to appreciate that, because this was especially at a time when nobody was doing anything like that. I mean, the next one that you have, I think, was probably Radiohead, and that was about 2 or 3 years later. But I think they saw that even if it wasn't sales-wise successful, it's a great thing to do, and it sold enough that he was allowed to, make other albums. That does help if you own your own record company, though. I do have to say, you don't have people breathing down your back about what you're making. So that's the playlist for this week. I hope you enjoy it as much as you can when we're talking about disillusionment, which is a pretty dark topic. But I was really happy with this one, and I hope you enjoy it too. We're going to get to some trivia. Speaking of Nine Inch Nails, nobody answered this, by the way. I hope somebody gets this week's trivia because nobody's going to get a smooch and nobody's going to get a special track this week. I apologize. But the question last week was when Jane's Addiction did a tour with a band in 1999, who was that band and what was the tour called? Two-part question with two-part answer, but nobody got either one. The tour was called the Ninja Tour, and the band was Nine Inch Nails. Ninja. Nine Inch Nails, Jane's Addiction. So, no smooches or tracks this week, but if you get a chance, check out some of the stuff they did together and check out both of those bands because they're absolutely amazing. The question for this week is one of the feature tracks this week was by Marilyn Manson. Outside of himself, can you name 4 members that have been members of that band? If you can do so, you'll get this week's special track. You'll also get a smooch. Also, I will give a bonus if somebody knows what all of those tracks have in common with each other. Or, I'm sorry, not all of those tracks. All of those band member names have in common with each other because they're all aliases. So if you can answer either or both questions, bonus track and smooch. I'm going to let you go ahead and enjoy the music. You can find it right down there in the description below. Tell me what you think of this video. Tell me what you think of this playlist. You can leave that in the comments section down below. Before I go, I'd like to shout out a few people who've always supported my channel, and I would like to just return the favor. AU Pack Mule, In Deep Geek, Lawrence Corner, and Entertainment Hacker, along with our Red Sox fans. So thank you all. And please, in the meantime, all of you share music with me. I'll share music with you. Leave it in the comments section down below. If I've never checked it out, it might make its way on Music Ear Candy. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Please, PLUR, be excellent to one another and party on.